Thank you for joining me for lesson 83 of Sefer HaMitzvos daily study. Yesterday, and in past days, we've been talking about divorce and some of the laws related to that. Yesterday, we talked about the mitzvah of marrying a woman to marry the brother-in-law of her husband when her husband has died and she did not have a son to carry on his name, and so the mitzvah, or the mitzvah is for her to have a son in the name of her dead husband, in order to carry on his name and his name in Israel, etc. So the in the case that the brother-in-law doesn't or agrees not to marry the woman, and so he decides he doesn't want to be with her. In a sense, they are married, but it's different than a normal marriage because it didn't require them to go through any sort of like a ceremony or anything to get into this point. As soon as the brother passed away, they're kind of in a sense married to each other, and they're supposed to be intimate with each other, and have a son in order to carry on the name of the dead brother. So when he doesn't want to do that for whatever reason, then there's another mitzvah. It's positive mitzvah 217. Obviously, all these mitzvahs are ones that we hope we don't ever have the pleasure to fulfill. But in the event that these situations do present themselves, these are the things that need to be done. And this one is actually still done today. Remember, I mentioned yesterday that for the most part, we don't have Jewish people marrying their brothers-in-law when their brother has passed away. And the reason given is that people just today aren't as holy as they used to be, and they'd be doing things for the wrong reasons. And so, when that is the case, then they need to, even today, do chalitzah. Chalitzah, positive mitzvah 217. So chalitzah is the word means to, like, the taking off, the removal of specifically of a shoe. So we'll read it from the text here, starting in Deuteronomy 25, verse 7, and we will go down to continuing until verse 10. But if the man does not wish to take his brother's wife, the brother's wife shall go up to the gate to the elders and say, my husband's brother has refused to perpetuate his brother's name in Israel, and he does not wish to perform the obligation of a husband's brother with me. Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak to him, and he shall stand up and say, I do not wish to take her. Then his brother's wife shall approach him before the eyes of the elders, remove his shoe from his foot, and she shall spit before his face, and answer him and say, thus shall it be done to the man who will not build up his brother's household. And the family shall be called in Israel the family of the one whose shoe was removed. All right. So that is the mitzvah as it appears in the Torah, and the mitzvah we actually derive from 25:9, or Rambam derives it from that, and she shall remove his shoe off his foot. So there are three ingredients here to this procedure. First of all, the wife and the brother-in-law make a statement, that, like, she makes the statement that he does not want to marry her in order to perpetuate the name of her dead husband, and he says, "That's right, I don't want to do it." Then there's a process of removing of a shoe from his foot, and it's got to be a specific shoe. There's a definition of shoe, halakhically, which is the shoe is a leather shoe. And so it has to meet certain qualifications. Can't just be any shoe. Uh, that's uh, that's that's how it's done. And then finally, once she's removed the shoe, and there are details to all of these things, but I just want to breeze over it pretty quickly. Finally, it says that she's to spit before his face, um, and so uh, it doesn't necessarily mean that she spits literally in his face, but that she spits past his face onto the ground in the presence of the judges, and there's supposed to be 5 judges. Normally, we say you don't necessarily want everybody's business to get out there, but in this case, we want everybody's to be aware of this situation, because otherwise it might look like she's sinning in some way by marrying another man. It might look like she's been married twice or something like that, or that she's not following the what the Torah says regarding Yibum, marrying the brother-in-law. Anyway, so she has to say this in front of do this process in front of these 5 judges. It can be, I believe it can be 3, but ideally 5. Um, and and that is the process. And then, of course, there's a further declaration of stating that this is the man who had his shoe taken off. I believe they say that 3 times, and then there's a process where the witnesses sign there's a special get that's written for a get chalitzah, which is basically just um, proving that this happened, and it happened before witnesses, before the judges, and that they saw this process take place. Um, and that is the very interesting process of chalitza. We do have another mitzvah which relates to this tomorrow, but this is going to be the only day that I have the opportunity to talk about chalitza directly as a mitzvah. But we will, with God's help, be able to talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day in every way.